Mindset is something that I think, for at least in my business, ends up being a lot of the core issues. People don't seem to recognize how quickly their mindset can shift, when it shifts, what those triggers are, and how to be more self-aware. So similar to David, it's about feedback that you get called in. And the feedback usually is something around one of my clients that I'll use as an example. A really big man, about 7 feet tall, could have been a linebacker with a deep voice, unlike mine. And he was working in New York, grew up on the floor of the stock exchange, a tough environment. He's now going to be working with a foreign office where their style is very different. People are perhaps a bit more petite, speak softer, don't show their emotions on their sleeves. So we worked together for him to shift his mindset about how to get things done in a different way. You don't have to be the grizzly bear. You could be, in fact, a Paddington bear. And so to this day, we're still in touch with each other. And he reminds me that he's still eating his marmalade sandwiches and doing all the right things. So what I'd like you to think about today is what's your mindset at any given moment? How aware of it are you? And how is it impacting you, not only in your coaching, but in life? Because let's face it, we all live a life, don't we? I hope. So here's what we'll look at. We'll talk about exploring the boundaries of a model called life positions, and I'll explain to you a bit about that. What are mindsets? We'll look at the brain chemistry. We all know that neuroscience is one of the hot topics these days. The emotion and performance that comes from that. I'll give you some tools to help shift so that you too can go away and be more mindful, pun intended, of what you're doing, creating that productive state, and certainly identifying your life positions for success. Along with the ICF core competencies, certainly we want to be able to create awareness. Awareness for ourselves and awareness within our clients. The idea of designing actions. How can we design actions that really expand what's happening today? And then, of course, coaching presence, which is also a topic that I find many coaches kind of struggle with, as well as leaders in organizations. How can you be really present, especially when you're being pulled in every single direction with an electronic device and a never-ending to-do list? So how can we get that presence back that we need? So let me share a little story. And as I go through this story, think about how you might be relating to it. So a typical day in the life of a New York working woman. I'm in my office, and my boss comes in and says, you know that presentation you've been working on about all the great things that have been happening in the IT department? I used to manage an IT department. Well, we have the CIO flying in, and you'll finally have that chance you've been waiting for to present to him. I know you're going to be great. I can't wait for you to share all the good things that we've been doing. So I go home, tell my husband, this is it. Finally, I'm going to have my moment in the spotlight. I'm going to get to see the CIO tomorrow, share about all the things that we've been going through. Oh, and he says, yeah, I know. I've been hearing about that for the past year. Great. Okay. So I go to bed after having picked out my outfit. Typical woman, sorry. We go in the closet, walk around, picked out the perfect outfit, got the jewelry lined up, all the accessories. Sorry, men, that's what we do. It's all there. Go to bed. I wake up a half hour early. Take my shower, have the music going, wonderful experience in the bathroom, come out, put on the clothes, look in the mirror. You're looking good, girl. Ready to go. My husband said, don't worry, I'll take care of feeding the kids this morning. Well, in walks my son. Oh, he's about 5 years old at this time, and he wants to congratulate mommy. He comes over and gives me this big hug, but Daddy made him Nutella toast this morning. Next thing you know, my perfectly designed outfit is all full of Nutella. I thought I was a half hour ahead of time, but now I'm not. Johnny, how could you do that to mommy? This is mommy's important day. Can't believe you did this to mommy. In I go to the closet, ripping things off the hangers. I look fat in this. This is out of date. This has a stain on it from the last time this happened. This has a hole in it. What the heck am I going to do now? All right? Quickly throw something on, squeeze in, trying to get the zipper up, do the whole thing, get into the car. All right, I'm not doing too bad. I think I still have some time left. I'll make it. I'll be fine. Driving, all of a sudden, dead standstill. No, this can't be happening to me. Not today of all days. This is my big moment. All right, well, thankfully, traffic moves on. I'm now, I think I can make it. Let me give it a little extra gas. No ticket. Pull into the parking lot. Of course, now I'm not the half hour early, so am I getting the front row? No. Am I getting the second row? No. I'm in the back. Okay, fine. I'll take off my heels, I'll put on my sneakers, I'll run through the parking lot, I'll still get in on time, I think. First person I meet, my boss. And I'm thinking, oh great, I know he wanted me to do this. This will help me get settled. Janine, I can't believe you did this. You know how important this is. Why weren't you here early? The CIO needs to leave earlier than planned. He has a flight to catch. Now you have only 5 minutes. Oh, man. Okay. Walk in, give my presentation, sweating bullets, trying to make sure I don't pop the buttons and the zipper in the back of my clothes that I squeezed into. We leave. The CFO comes up to me and says, Janine, that was a great presentation. You really nailed it. The CIO is really pleased. Whew. Okay. Thank you. All right, so what was happening to me during that whole time? What was happening? This is an open conversation. What was happening? I've never silenced a room like this before. Come on. I was playing victim. What else was happening?
You were creating stress for yourself by your conversation.
Yeah, having that internal dialogue. Has anybody else ever had internal dialogue, or am I totally alone? Thank you. All right. What else is happening?
You went on a journey of calm preparation to anxiety to what am I going to do to, oh, I did great.
Yeah. In a matter of minutes, we shifted so quickly, right? So this is the model that I want to share with you, and it's exactly what you said. We can go to this place. I have value. You don't, right? Who do you think was in that spot in my little story? Who had value and who did not? When?
He grabs you.
Right. When my son comes up to me to give mommy a big hug,
And you think very nice, right?
being so sweet. Daddy probably sent him up and said, go wish mommy good luck on her big day, without cleaning little Johnny's hands. Change the names to protect the innocent, all right? So up comes little Johnny, think he's doing the right thing. So he's right there, and I'm not, all right? I don't have value now. You do. Who's in control and who's not in control? When did that show up in my situation? When did that show up? Go ahead, sir.
You were kind of looking through your outfits and you were kind of criticizing them and this kind of this devaluating. I mean, couldn't you have one that would be the second best? You kind of was like you had to be that one thing, and you were everything else was low value.
Yeah. Giving away our power. I gave power to the clothes in the closet. Okay? Where else did I give away power?
Your boss in the garage.
Ah, my boss, absolutely. You know, I let him steal away my joy that he gave me the night before. Okay? So in less than 12 hours, from cheering me on, deflated. Yes, ma'am?
It's just, there was something about the value of the whole meeting that was actually more grandiose than it really is. It's one meeting.
Well, it was really a big meeting. Put yourself back in corporate if you're not there now, and think about, so in IT, at least back in the day when I was running these departments, we would have these projects that did take a year. They weren't supposed to take a year, but with scope creep, those of you who work with IT know that things kind of drag on, and finally, you hit release, it's out, users are happy, we hope everything's not crashing. So this was a big moment, right? I don't have value, you don't have value. When did that happen? When did that happen in my story? Think about when my boss is now feeling stressed, embarrassed. The CIO is sitting there, says, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave a bit earlier because I have another flight to catch. Things have changed. Here's his direct report, waiting for his direct report, me, to show up. And he's sitting there, feeling like now he's looking bad in front of his boss. Okay? I'm feeling bad now looking in front of my boss. It trickles down. Okay? This is where we want to be. This is the space where we're at an even playing field, where there's possibility. When did that happen in my story? During the congratulations, absolutely. Yeah, my boss is proud, I'm proud, I come home, my husband's proud, I'm finally gonna get my chance to shine, share what I've achieved in a year's hard work, right? So when that happens, we're moving and others are moving with us. And we end up to a place where there's confidence, cooperation, courage, creativity, and care, my 5 C's. When we're in this space and others are there and we've brought them along with us, or they've brought us with them, that's the place for creativity. Sadly, little things can happen that will have us shift, snap of a finger. Right? Think about things that have happened to you. You could be driving to work, minding your own business, doing what you need to do. Somebody bumps into you because they were too busy texting on their cell phone. Right? What does that do to your day? I see this all the time. I live in New York. People come out of Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, not paying attention. Somebody is on their phone. Coffee's going everywhere. Right? A matter of seconds. They were so happy when they got their cup of coffee, exactly the way they wanted it, the right amount of cream, the right amount of sugar. In a matter of seconds, you can switch very quickly. So, you saw a bit of how I've shifted through in a scenario. Let me give you another recent one that just happened. So, I've just rebranded my company after 15 years, and in the process of doing that, I hired a designer. 4 months into the project, he went on vacation, found Enlightenment, and decided to go off to become a Tibetan monk. No joke. So, 4 months of working with somebody, sharing all your thoughts and dreams about your business, how you want the website to look like, is now sitting in meditation out in Thailand. Go through the process again of taking in proposals, trying to figure out who I should have as the substitute person now. Went through this whole ordeal, get everything going. Well, it turned out the project manager that this organization assigned to me, unbeknownst to me, was a consultant. And midway through, resigned. So now I'm back to where I was once again, now having to find somebody else. Stayed with the company, went through the process. They gave me a little bit of a discount because they felt bad. Everything is going smoothly, so I think. Until 8:15 last night, okay, I'm getting ready to come here, packing my bag, and I see my phone message blinking. I look at my email. It hasn't gone live. I'm currently in limbo. I have no idea, if you want to follow up with me afterwards, which email's working, which website's working. Okay? So again, the emotions that happen when you least expect it. Okay? Think about in your own life how quickly this happens to you. And let's talk about what happens in our brains with this. When we are in that plus state, we are having a major release of oxytocin, dopamine, adrenaline, all the feel-good drugs, all the drugs that race naturally through our bodies, which you can also find illegally on the streets here in Manhattan, in case you didn't know. Why? Because people want to feel good. Right? Who doesn't want to feel good? And when you have that natural reaction internally with somebody that you're working with, somebody that you're in conversation with, possibilities happen. We call that the growth mindset. Okay? That's where innovation happens. That's where relationships are built. That's where productivity happens. That's all the good things that you need to see happen to be successful. On the flip side, when you're in that negative space, negative plus, plus negative, when there's a negative appearing there, you're dropping into the amygdala, the fight or flight. And your body naturally releases tons of cortisol. Who knows anything about cortisol? What do you know about cortisol? Okay, not enough, so that's okay. Who else had a hand up? What else do you know about? Yes, sir.
It actually has an inflammatory response, not only on the brain, but also on the rest of the body. So it's really helpful to get us going, but long-term exposure to cortisol is very damaging. And then at some point, your adrenal glands can't take it anymore, so you can't even get yourself back up for fight or flight.
Thank you, perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself. So yes, when this happens, you're going down. You're going down quick. And the problem with that is we're not creating the environment for success. And we now know about social brains. Social brains are that we feed off of the people that we're with. So if you ever thought emotions were contagious, yeah, they are. I mean, how many of you have ever walked into a room where people are laughing and you find yourself going, what are we laughing about? Right? You could walk in, at least I can, walk into a funeral, people are crying. I don't even need to know who died, and I'll find myself crying. We cry in movies. We cry in TV shows. It's contagious. Right? Do we want to have a cortisol body damaging reaction, as you so kindly explained? Or do we want to have one that's creating the right environment for success, empowerment, creativity, strong relationships? So this is what's happening internally. So think about all the victims in either of my two stories. How might they be feeling? Were they aware of what they were doing for me? So I'd like to leave you with yet another model. Okay, so this is the STOP model. This is what you can do to help shift that mindset from the negative, either the negative plus or plus negative, which is the fixed mindset, and bring it to the growth mindset. Okay? So stop, step back. First thing, hit that stop button. Pause, breathe, reflect. We all have that as our choice. Think, what is my current life position? Where am I? What has my fallback been? Is this useful or not? What do I really want to do? What's my intention here? What do I want to get from this situation? Orientate. What can I do to change my mood, shift my mind, be in a different state that would be perhaps more helpful, that will help drive the results that I'm looking to drive? And then proceed. Oops. Well, all right. So we're going to do an exercise in a minute, but let me go back. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. So I heard something somewhere. You wanted to take notes. Got it. Sorry. All right. So these are things that we can do. Now, the whole idea of the life positions is based on a model called transactional analysis. Some of you may be familiar with that. It's certainly a huge premise in psychology. And one of the things that Carol Dweck and her team, researchers in that space, determined was that a lot of our mindsets are set by the time that we're 8 years old. Sad, isn't it? By 8 years old, we have already come up with all of our ways of looking at the world. However, not that anyone's old in this room, but I'll put myself in the mix. We're all a little bit above 8 years old now, aren't we? And we hope that with age and maturity, we can now make more informed decisions. So you might see a young child responding or reacting from that fixed mindset that was developed before the age of 8. But hopefully, we can hit that stop button, that pause button, and choose a different way of being. Questions? Have I silenced the room, or are there no questions? Any questions? All right, so what I'd like to do is I really would like to do an exercise. So this is a very large group, but I do think that based on the way you're sitting, you can at least turn to a neighbor, or you might have to turn behind because we are in rows of 5. And think about something that you've done recently. Think about a situation that you've been in, whether it was a difficult conversation, whether it was just a typical day that you go through, and share that with your partner. Your partner's job is to notice all the clues. Okay? The clues of when you might have shifted through a different mindset. Did you tell your story in a plus-plus state the entire time? Was there a moment when you became in a plus-minus or a minus-plus? Was there a time that you felt very defeated and you were minus-minus? Right? Look for clues. Your body responds. Because of these neurochemicals racing through your body will respond. Your tone of voice will change, your posture will change, your whole attitude, your demeanor will change as you shift through the states. So any questions on the exercise? Needless to say, we want to play fair, so you share with your partner first. Give some feedback about what you noticed, and then please let your partner share, and then you give that feedback. Clear? Give it a go, and then we'll come back together as a group. A couple of questions that I had as part of the exercise. Who would be open and willing to share in this very safe environment? Because I forgot to tell you that what happens in the Columbia Conference stays in the Columbia Conference. The concepts, the models, please take. But those of you who are sharing, we have the sanctity. Does anybody have any challenge in keeping the sanctity of the Columbia Conference? Great. So please, who would like to share when they notice themselves going through the shifts? Who noticed for themselves that they were going through a mindset shift? Thank you. Oh, you're volunteering your partner. I like that. Okay.
Yes, I did.
All right. So what did you notice were the triggers? What are triggers for you that make you shift, both out of the plus-plus as well as perhaps into a plus-plus? Sir?
So do you want the triggers or?
Yeah.
just single-
Yeah, both. Whatever you want to share about this.
So it was actually meeting up with my girlfriend later this evening. She's coming back from Colorado, and then turns out there's this debate party that she might have to go to at some point. Which at this point in the election, I just thought is ridiculous.
Well, wait, we have the Columbia rule, and we also have to be careful of what we bring into Columbia. I know what we don't want to take out, but what are we bringing in?
You know, we've been looking forward to spending time with each other, and she was away, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, like, when I got that text message, all of that, you know, wait, what about me? What about us? What does this mean? All came up. And,
So before you got the text message, what state might you have been in?
like, looking forward to seeing her.
So a plus-plus maybe?
Plus.
Great,
Yeah.
great. When you got the text, where did you go?
So, focusing on myself and kind of evaluating what that might mean for her to go to this party to support the roommate who's hosting the party.
Okay, so would that might have been which? The minus-plus for you or a plus-minus?
So I think I was focusing on myself, so I was the plus and she was the minus.
Great, okay. Do I dare ask, where's the relationship now?
So I had to
I'm sure there's a relationship coach in the room who can help, but.
it's great. I had to dig deep, find like a humorous response, and to move out of a place of judgment to a place of like playfulness and humor, which it wasn't such a big deal in the greater scheme of things.
Right.
And I was, you know, I just sent kind of a funny text about the debate at this stage and all of that. But I found myself getting out of that place where I was making it mean something about what was happening or seeing each other, and getting into more, like I said, of a kind of fun, playful place. And that helped me get more to a plus-plus place.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. you stepped on a couple of things that I would like to talk about when you were sharing your triggers. So the idea of humor. Humor is something that also helps us release all those really happy chemicals, right? So if you're finding yourself in that state, how can you turn to humor? And humor has to be used appropriately. And if you look at the ICF core competencies, humor is embedded in that as well. So it's absolutely something that we do recognize in the world of coaching, but we recognize it in the world of life too, okay? I know that there's a whole crazy thing going on right now around clowns. However, let's talk about the fact that humor is often brought into very tough situations. You know, it's brought into hospitals, it's being used with children, right? So excellent that you went to the humorous side, okay? How easy, and I'm going to put myself in your shoes, so I'm inferring, how easy might it have been to have written a snarkity email and hit send and then pay the price afterwards? Okay? Have we not all at some point either made the snarkity remark, sent the email, and afterwards, you know, you kind of think twice and said, maybe I should have hit the pause button and waited, put it in draft mode, gotten up, gone for a walk, gotten a drink, not alcohol, just a drink of water to calm down, right? Well, alcohol is another story, but we won't bring that into Columbia either. So the idea being how you can shift so quickly and choose, right? Remember what I said earlier, transactional analysis found that 8-year-olds and under is where perspectives are formulated. Think about if this gentleman was not of the mature mind and brain that he has, what might he have done if he was under 8? Think about seeing little kids playing together, right? How often do they lash out so quickly, right? How often do we have to pull them apart, intercede, right? They're looking at the world through one perspective, and he so rightly said he had to shift his perspective and think about what did this mean for her? And what did it mean for their relationship in the grander perspective? All right? Anybody else want to share something about this example and the exercise that you just went through? Yes?
Yeah, we talked about how you get to that plus state, but you might want to, or maybe someone would address, sometimes we get to it because we have such control, we get it, we know how to get there, but there may be some residual negative.
Sure. So once you get those chemicals racing through your system, it's not like the faucet that you can just quickly turn on, turn off, or lights on, lights off, clap on, clap off. It doesn't work that way, right? So it's there. And it's how do we manage it so that it doesn't go into the next conversation. It doesn't go into the next setting, right? Because we can do that. You know, there's that old adage, the kick the dog. You know, you had a bad day at work and you go home and you kick the dog. I hate that. I'm an animal lover. However, the saying is there. So think about the fact that if you don't do something to help decompress, to help really reset your mindset for a longer term, those chemicals are still racing through your system. And if you don't do something, it will have a negative effect either on you physically, as the gentleman in the back had said with the cortisol, or it'll start to affect innocent conversations, innocent situations when that person's like, what did I do? Okay. So let me just share with you that for you, whether it's in your coaching practice, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationship to the people that are in your life, those that are near and dear, be aware. Be aware of the transitions in the states. Notice for yourself, and hopefully with the help of the partner that you just worked with that pointed out a few things to you, where some of your triggers were, when you might have shifted without even realizing it, and the impact it can have. Is it the impact that you want? What are those triggers? How will you manage behavior that you are demonstrating, or perhaps the situation that's around you? How can you manage that behavior so that it creates a positive situation for the entire situation that you're in, the entire group that you're in, the entire conversation, the entire team that you're in? Because remember, with the social brain, it's contagious. Okay? We all want to build relationships. It's right there out in the ICF core competencies, right? But it's also in life. Successful relationships lead to a successful life, leads to a successful business. And certainly collaboration. Are you working with people and helping them get to the place that my client did and eating marmalade sandwiches? Right? So I have what I was told, 60 people in the room, but we have a little bit more than that. I have a laminate that I'd like to leave with you that has the model on it, but I only have 60 copies, so please, do email me, but not tonight. Please give it a week, because I don't know where the emails are going to go right now. They're in limbo somewhere, but I'll gladly send it to you as well if I've run out of laminates. So I thank you very much for your time.